Gear 5, aka Looney Tunes the Anime, is one of the most unhinged spectacles in anime history. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself here. 1044 is one of the best chapters in the One Piece manga, and this adaptation is fucking amazing, and I love the way it was adapted. Since there's so many positives to the episode, let's discuss the flaws of the adaptation. Firstly, why would you include both the opening and the ending in one of the most anticipated episodes of the entire series? Don't get me wrong, they're both fucking bangers of an OP and ED, but you would think you would leave them out on some ReZero shit. Secondly, do the scenes linger this much regularly? Maybe I'm tripping, but some of the shots just stay on the screen for so damn long. Look at this clip of the 5 elders discussing the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Why is the camera pan for so long? Even though the motherfucker talking pauses between his lines anyway. Thirdly, the Orochi scenes. Okay, a lot of people were annoyed by this filler clip, and I can understand why. The scene was incredibly drawn out, the flashbacks were redundant, and it halted much more momentum than it needed to, if it was intended to be a sort of intermission. The scene has its flaws, but I still think this is an incredibly crucial step in resolving the Wano arc, by killing off Orochi and giving closure to Yuri. Obviously, most people aren't going to this episode for, finishing the Wano arc and all that technical story bullshit. We just wanted to see the transformation, to be honest. So that's probably the main reason why people, just didn't really care for this. But I did. Okay, I did. The irony in Orochi dying from the fate in which Oden endured, trial by fire, is so fitting and it's satisfying. I mean, it is so satisfying to see Orochi get fucked after terrorizing the Wano citizens like the entire fucking arc. Still, a major problem in terms of pacing, especially for such a hype episode. Lastly, the long-ass 1-minute flashback of the previous Kaido vs Luffy fight during the new Kaido vs Luffy fight. Specifically, it's the CP0 agent interrupting the fight, which probably warrants a small flashback, but not one that is literally slowed down to a snail's pace. All the hype, all the momentum that was built up during the actual Kaido vs Luffy fight was just broken at this ridiculously long flashback. But the pros clear the cons for this masterful adaptation. From the first minutes alone, you get a sense of almost uneasiness from Luffy grinning, his Conqueror's Haki flashing and the ground beneath him bouncing like rubber. The soundtrack, with all its tribal percussion and rhythm, really emphasizes the drums of liberation Zunisha mentions. Luffy himself seems to be having the time of his fucking life, cackling like a villain, looking like he just witnessed the greatest joke of all time. And yet, the man looks like a fucking demon and is a fucking demon, considering he split the entire sky wide open with his Haki alone. And then he runs, jumps, and performs that iconic Nika pose in front of the moon. But wait, there's more. Luffy can now, like Paramecia Awakenings in the past, transform the environment around him into rubber, allowing him to bounce around on some cartoon shit. The pattern Luffy makes while bouncing looks like a water rippling. It's so fucking cool. And still, the episode ramps up in intensity as we finally transition to Luffy versus Kaido. We see Luffy whip his hand around and simultaneously inhale, and uses Gear 3 in order to create a giant fist. What does he do with this ginormous fist, you ask? Well, of course, he yoinks Kaido out of the building on some scorpion shit and proceeds to destroy his reputation of being the strongest villain yet by straight wailing on him. Like, seriously beating his ass like he's a fucking East Blue villain. But now we really get into the absurd bits of this fight, because holy shit, everything just ramps up in intensity. Kaido shoots a blast breath at Luffy, who responds with fucking disassembling himself into this meme-worthy shot. Then he shoves his eyes back into his face with his bare hands like it's just a everyday occurrence, and this action sends a shockwave to push him away from Kaido's blast. Some acrobatics later, acrobatics being a very oversimplified term, he finally lifts a slab of rock right into the blast zone, transmutes it into rubber, and sends it right back to Kaido. Now obviously there's a lot going on animation wise, I mean you literally are looking at it, but I want to save that can of worms for last. I will say though that Kaido's face here screams,
"Hi, this is me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it's a long story."
And yeah, he gets boxed like a fish by his own attack. Meanwhile, Luffy just throws the whole Atlantic Ocean to injury when he starts cracking up, laughing his ass off. My favorite part of this episode is easily the Gear 5 title card. Oh my god, I'm gonna need a minute to talk about this. The little mantra starts with individual letters spelling out Gear 5 with their own respective colors. So G has like a yellow fire aura around it, and the scene itself has yellow highlights or whatever, I'm not sure the technical term. And every scene contains this stylistic motif, and it's just a really nice touch. The background scenes of the letters aren't anything too special until the motherfuckers showcase Luffy's entire gear journey, presenting scenes depicting Luffy's base form, Gear 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 in increasingly rapid succession. The little bell noise repeating is a great sound to build up the attention, and all the letters constantly spell out gear. Then boom, 5, with the Hito Hito no Mi, Mado Nika in the back. Luffy again starts to laugh, and those same colors that correspond to the letters of gear flash into the last color purple, which symbolizes gear 5. We get these insanely detailed impact frames, which just look so good, and they even snuck in a few frames of the actual devil fruit. How the hell is the average viewer that's not slowing this down frame by frame supposed to notice that shit? The attention to detail is incredible, and obviously the gear 5 pose is hard as shit. The sparkles are again those letter colors, and the word gear is animated into the scene with some purple flames, signifying gear 5. I also noticed, and this is a really minute detail, that the words gear 5 also sparkle with Conqueror's Haki. You see the black bits outlined with red. This title card is way better than the manga version, in my opinion, even though the original is fire in of itself. Yeah, I mean, that is the episode, and I can't wait for the continuation of this fight. However, before the video ends, there are two major topics that I want to discuss, and that's the sound and the animation. The sound effects really bring out that Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny-esque vibe, which is fitting not only for the rubber abilities of Luffy, but the freedom he feels. He's now able to turn anything cartoonish, essentially giving him no limits on his imagination and thus his strength. Trampolines, whirling, and even that classic running sound. It's absurd, it's fun, and it's exactly what Luffy is feeling in that moment. Fun, like pure freedom. It's just so damn entertaining to hear Luffy and Kaido brawl it out, and I'm hearing fucking cartoon sound effects blasting in my ear. Now, the animation, on the other hand, makes me feel like I'm in a fever dream. The impact frames are so goddamn satisfying, and the environmental detail, the amount of shit flying across the screen as punches are thrown, are so plentiful. There's so much shit happening. Bro, those acrobatics I glossed over, well, I did that because it's near indescribable. I love it. Facial features fall off his face. His proportions are fucked, and all realism is thrown out the window for pure organic insanity. Every animator in the studio must have been high off 15 drugs to create something like this. The camera, when Luffy's on top of the slab of earth, is the epitome of lunacy. I mean, just look at it. It's awesome, dog. It's as if the camera itself was fucking drunk and wobbling all over the place trying to capture Luffy on top of the rock. It's incredibly unique and perfect for something like Gear 5. Every non-One Piece fan was expecting some epic transformation on some six-pass Naruto fucking Super Saiyan Goku bullshit. But no, we got the silliest, most unhinged transformation in shonen history, and it's just fucking peak. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.